Hey, I am Pishao. I don't know if you're already following me on social media. My handle on all platforms is at Skooky Pishao. Anyway, let me go straight to what we're here for. You see, it's very hard being a young woman in this day and age. I'll tell you why. All your life, you have been told what to do to keep a man, to make a man come to you, to make a man stay, but you have not been taught lessons on how to protect yourself. How to protect yourself when you fall in love with a guy who only wants to play with your heart. Maybe because of everything going on around you, you have also concluded that all men are scum. Well, I'm not here to, convince you maybe men are scum or maybe men are not scum. But if 90% of the men out there are scum, then I'm talking to you. You deserve to pick your own man from the 10% that are not scum. So let me point out to you the 7 biggest mistakes that women make with men. The less you make these mistakes, the more happier you'll be, the more you'll be emotionally protected, and the more you have a guy that you want to be madly in love and committed to you. Let's go right in. Mistake 1, always being too available. You are being too nice from too early on. Why is it that when you want to buy a bag or shoe, you are very good at negotiating? I marvel at the way women sometimes can price a product, make a bargain. But when it comes to more important matters of your heart and your emotions, you cannot sell yourself cheap. That's not right, my sister. You are way more valuable than you are selling yourself for. And even if you yourself know that you are worth more than the way you have allowed some guys to treat you, maybe some guy in your life right now is even treating you like shit, but you are just there, nah. I want you to glue the following sentence to your brain. Guys don't offer you bullshit in large quantities. They offer it to you in inches. The more you compromise and keep allowing him to get away with treating you bad, the more bullshit he will bring your way. You won't realize it. One day your friends will just be asking you, why are you letting him treat you this bad? And you start wondering, is it I've been digmatized or something? Excuse my French. Or you'll be like, am I hypnotized? Even though you don't know how you got here. But here is what is happening. You have started being too nice and too considerate early on. And each time you allow him to get away with something silly, he only concluded that he could get away with more next time. The cancelled dates, standing you up all night, ignoring your calls for a week, and trying to come back like nothing happened. All these things that you let him get away with has created a recipe for disaster. And it has to stop. You see, some men can be silly when dealing with women. It is the girl who is nice to them that they take for granted. Whereas the girl who does not take nonsense is even a little mean to them is the one they respect. I am here to teach you how to cut all that bullshit game immediately. You will be nice, but you'll be firm at the same time. No one wants to be around a woman who is temperamental and nags. That's not what you're going to do. You're going to make him respect you intensely. Let me tell you a little secret. Men like a woman who is a little bit selfish and quiet into herself. But there's a balance. The heartaches are enough. Now you're going to take control. The second mistake that a lot of women make is calling and checking up on him all the time. This usually happens after you have had sex with him and you are still not certain of where both of you are going. You can already see that the calls are reducing. For some reason, he's just not as energetic as before. All of a sudden, he starts saying he's busy. I'm in a meeting. You don't hear from him all day. One part of your mind is like upset, you're angry, but you think you should just let him be. Maybe he can call when he remembers you exist. But then there's another part of your mind that's scared of the unknown. You don't want your greatest fears to come alive. So you decide to close that gap and you start hounding him with calls. You start making up excuses for him in your head. What you're doing here is that you're trying to hide from the true state of things. You tell yourself that you love him too much. Oh my God, I just started falling for this guy. And you already put your heart on the roll. Stop being afraid of the unknown. All this texting and calling him 100 times a day is not going to help you. You're not the first person who is going to have sex without being in a relationship. So stop selling yourself cheaper and cheaper because you think that will remedy the situation. When things don't add up, you have to subtract yourself. Stop the calling and the texting. The third big mistake that women make, falling for his actions when his words don't match. This is for those women who maybe you meet a guy online, both of you start chatting and you start getting close. He's always checking up on you. And you're always checking up on him too. For some reason, both of you are just in a place where you share some deep chemistry. You can't really explain it, but it feels good. As time goes on, maybe you've had sex with him, maybe you haven't, but you start to wonder, where is this all going? And then your brain tells you, maybe you just, ask him. Then your heart says, no, let me enjoy the flow of things. When you finally push yourself to ask, what are we doing? What exactly do you want from me? It doesn't give you a clear answer. It just says, I cherish you. I like you a lot. You mean a lot to me. He plays the perfect role of a gentleman. You're already acting like a girlfriend. But then sometimes when you maybe check up on him, like, you didn't call me all day, they'll be like, yeah, well, did I have to call you? And you're like, oh, I thought we were playing boyfriend, girlfriend here. How come sometimes he acts like it's convenience and then other times he acts like you guys are just friends? Now, because you're scared of, getting him angry further, anything, you decide not to go down that lane again. You really don't want to push it to him like, what exactly are we doing? You just want to be managing the situation. My sister, they say actions speak louder than words. But when it comes to guy-girl relationships, words actually speak louder than actions. He would not honor what he doesn't say. And you can't hold him responsible for a promise he did not make to you. It's a different thing if he asks you to be his girlfriend and makes all the promises in the world. But in this case, he hasn't even asked you. He's just playing the role of a boyfriend, but he hasn't come out to say it clearly. So he's going to actually put it back on you and say you're the one who is assuming things. He knows you are emotional and he's toying with that. Mistake number 4. This is a huge one. Thinking you can use sex to hold a man down. You see, they say men fake love to get sex, while women, they give sex to get love. Now, you met this guy, you like him, and maybe you even want to have sex with him too. You're not a robot, right? I'm not judging you for that. You just need to realize that 9 out of 10 times, sex will not make a man suddenly go from being attracted to you to committing. As a matter of fact, once he gets the sex, he might even relax on the angle of commitment. You know why? Because you are already giving him the benefits of being a boyfriend without the responsibility of him actually being one. So he will only think to himself, hey, I don't need to get committed to her when I am getting all the goodies already. If you like, do all the style in the world, it's the sex he will keep coming for. The only time that you have him all over you is when he's looking for the next passionate round that he's going to have with you. And haven't you noticed how sometimes you try and hold a normal conversation and then he just seems uninterested? But when it comes to time when you want to give him the cookie, he's all energetic and all over you like you are the only woman in the world. It's because sex has become his only point of interest in you. I'm not saying he doesn't like you, he probably does, but the issue is that you love him more than he feels for you and you are showing it too much. There is an imbalance of emotions in the whole situation. I do not like the fact that you are in this situation and you can know me and then somebody's just playing Scrabble with your emotions like this. We have to change that. Mistake number 5. Making decisions based on what you wish instead of what you see in front of you. You can see red flags everywhere, but you pretend that you're colorblind. You even ask him about his present relationship status as you guys are getting to know each other. He says it's complicated, but he still talks to his ex. They are no longer together, but he just can't leave her like that. I can't just leave her. She still calls me for advice. What? And you can clearly see that this is beginning to spell trouble. As a matter of fact, he's always talking about sex more than he talks about other reasonable topics with you. But okay, people who are in love also talk about sex because human beings like sex like that. But you can tell that something is off. It's okay if you're looking for a fling. Both of you can enjoy yourself while it lasts. But that'll be if you're looking for a fling. Then you'll be a red flag to him also. But the problem occurs now when you are involving your emotions and your fragile heart in this fling game. Instead of looking at the situation for what it really is, you decide to proceed and hope that some magical, fairy something will come and convert him into your knight in shining armor. Like I said earlier, if a guy deceives you, then you'll know that the guy is just a plain wicked human being. In such case, karma will deal with that man. But when you are the one deceiving yourself, you can clearly see that this hookup with this dude spells doom, but you stubbornly proceed. You don't want to face the possibility of the fact that maybe this guy is not it. Karma will not do anything to that guy, because you are the one that is deceiving yourself. I know it's not easy to walk away, especially when you have started falling in love with the guy, but you are way more stronger than you realize. And I am going to remind you of how powerful you are, my sister. Number 6, ignoring the signs. Ignoring the signs is the deadliest thing that you can do to yourself. I'm not suggesting that at the first sign of incompatibility, you should run away. By all means, you need to take your time to study, this guy and everything and see if he's just making some honest mistake or is it that there's a pattern here. Let me give you some 7 short points that you need to implement into your mindset immediately. Number 1, the signs don't lie. If a man values you, he will not be neglecting you this way. Number 2, it's up to you to make him respect and value you, but chasing him up and down is not the way to go about it. Number 3, the more you talk, the less he hears. You have asked all the questions, you've given the explanation. It's no longer about what you say at this point. It's about what you don't say. Number 4, please note this. He is feeding his ego off your desperation. Lean back. Number 5, you are not silly for falling for him, but you'll be careless if you keep falling after all this is non-caring attitude. Number 6, it's not easy, I know, but he is not your problem. Falling for him is not your problem. Your problem is that little voice in your head that keeps telling you nonsense. Number 7, don't be scared to face reality and whatever it brings. That shit is never as painful as you think. Trust me on that. Grab the bull by the horns. If you know that this guy is not working, you need to step back. I'm going to teach you how, okay? The 7th biggest mistake that women make with men is always wanting to talk things out. You know your favorite line? Oh, we need to talk. Oh, gosh. I'm glad you stayed with me up to this point. I'm glad you stayed up to the 7 points. And this is just the beginning. I'm ready to answer many of the questions going into the future to constantly remind you and convert you into that woman who is always on her A game. Now, the worst thing you can do is always wanting to talk things out to a guy who is not ready to communicate with you. Mark Gongo, one of my favorite marriage relationship counselors, says that a woman's brain is many more times more active than a man's brain. So it's very possible that when something is bothering you, you always want to talk it out. But then, how many times have you told this guy that, let's talk? At the end of the day, when he finally grants your phone call or you see him and he leaves you, you realize that, wait, the conversation did not lead anywhere. We didn't really make any sense. In short, now you have more questions because all these answers were vague or unserious. It's just as if it's acting like there's nothing wrong. Stop caressing his ego with how emotional you get. I'm not saying you should not be emotional, but it's crucial, right, that at this time you stop going back to the same person who's hurting you for a solution. Your actions will restore your value more than your words ever would. Don't be scared to step back. You'll be shocked at how cowardly he can be. He's only capitalizing on your weakness. Starve his ego. Stop feeding it. Everything you should be doing to make you the woman that you really are, the powerful woman that you really are. I break it down in my ebook titled Make Him Worship You. You see, if a guy as much as says hi to you and you know you want him, I'll show you the principles that will make him committed to you, fall madly in love with you. And I'm not bullshitting you here. A lot of women have read this book and they have testified. I have over 2,500 testimonials of women who have applied the principles in this book. The only problem you might have is that he will fall too much in love with you. But all this wonder, he's not calling me, he's not picking my... Nah, come on. Turn the tables around. I show you everything in my book. You need to jump on it. Click the link right below to get yourself a copy. Make him worship you. I guarantee you that you will send me a personal email and say, he's too much in love with me. What should I do? That's the result you get.